Ed, have a good one.
All right, you guys as well. Have a good night.
See ya.
Oh man, he's a good one. He's funny, man.
I love that, dude.
I love Brad. Okay, all right. So, and keep the show rolling on. We got Cali Urrutia coming on, so let's get him on the phone, all right?
Okay, give me just one moment. Hello?
What's up?
What's going on, Cali?
Not much, man. Pumped to be on.
Hey, thanks for coming on. So, yeah, we now welcome on Cali Urrutia. He is the brother of Gabby, who is a writer just like me for the State of You. He's a good friend, and now we welcome on his big brother. How you feeling tonight, brother?
Good, man. I'm feeling great. A lot to be excited about, and even more so, I'm pumped to be on the line with two greatest legends Utah seen since John Stockton and Karl Malone, man.
I love it, man. So let's get right into it. You are a lifelong Miami Hurricane fan, you and Gabby both, and just like me, we grew up going to the Orange Bowl and watching players like Ed Reed and Sean Taylor, all those great guys. So what does it mean to you as a Hurricane fan to get Ed Reed into the program as chief of staff?
I mean, I can't really put it into words because this is the first time as I guess a sports fan that I actually feel old, because I'm at that age that I'm seeing guys that I remember getting recruited into Miami. Now he's a Hall of Famer, and he now and coming back, it's insane to me. So from a nostalgia standpoint, it's irreplaceable. It's the greatest feeling I can think of. And the Twitter banter that it's created has been wonderful. So great day.
Absolutely. And then, because like you've been around you're a Dade County native and you've been there your whole life. What kind of impact will a guy like this have on not just the players, but the coaches and just the program as in general? Like he's a Hall of Famer. What kind of impact will that have on the whole University of Miami?
Well, I'll put it like this. I live in Coral Gables. So campus is not even 10 minutes from my house. I went to eat with my wife, and people were already just talking about it. You just walk in and hear people like, man, Miami hired Ed Reed. So I think it's something that we're gonna see create, obviously a buzz down here. But he's that name, that figure down here that whether you're a diehard fan of the University of Miami, or you're just a casual fan, or you've just been around long enough, you know exactly who Ed Reed is. So from a football standpoint, we're to see Ed Reed like walking into these kids' houses, and how do you say no to a guy like Ed Reed? Like how do you shuffle around that? So it's really, really exciting. I can't imagine, honestly, like a better alumni to bring in, especially at the point the program's in now.
Absolutely. And let me ask you this: how were you feeling about the whole Alonzo Highsmith situation? Were you team, like, did you want him to bring on, and did you want Ed Reed more than Alonzo Highsmith, or how did you feel about that?
Ed Reed never crossed my mind as to being like on staff until it got announced on Twitter today. That was never a thought for me. When the buzz started about Alonzo coming, I'm gonna be honest, I might be in the minority here. Not that I didn't want it to happen, I just didn't expect it to happen. The guy's been an assistant GM and he's been high in the front office in the league. Like, I don't see him walking away from that to take a job at the University of Miami. And I don't think it's anything personal against the university. It's just, I feel like once you hit that echelon in the industry, I can't see how he kind of takes that step back.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Because a lot of people know I was all on the Highsmith train because of his front office experience in the NFL and everything like that. And I was pissed when, the two times that we tried to hire him and it didn't work out. But I feel like if there's any alternative, this is the greatest alternative of all time. I didn't really think that we had any kind of chance bringing on a guy like Ed Reed, No,
I never would have guessed it. And again, the thought didn't even cross my mind until, Gabby sent me a screenshot of an email. I was like, hey, look what I just got. I'm like, oh, man. But, from you could have given me the names like Ray Lewis, Michael Irvin, those type of guys. I don't think anybody better embodies the culture here than Ed Reed. So I absolutely love the hire.
Now, do you think that this hire will, I mean, it'll impact directly his first year? Like, do you now expect the Canes to go like 10-2, 11-1, or do you expect this to be like a 2 to 3 year kind of rebuild sort of a thing?
Well, I think we'll see some sort of immediate impact, because how are you a high school football player, or excuse me, a college football player coming in and you're around Ed Reed every single day, just so the wisdom you're going to take in from him, and just like, the passion that he's going to display. I can't imagine it doesn't make you want to be a better football player. That being said, I'm very careful to manage my expectations for this team. I've been a fan long enough to know that. But I think this is something that next recruiting cycle, I think is going to make a huge impact, because I fully expect him to be a guy that's, hosting visits and even going to some local guys' houses. I'm not expecting this guy to travel on the road with the coaches, but definitely locally, he's going to make such a huge impact, I think.
All right, Cali. So, last week we did a top 3 list. We asked what the top 3 rivals were. We just had Brad Tejeda on, and this week our question is, who are your top 3 Miami Hurricanes of all time, in honor of Ed Reed? So give us your list. Top 3 Hurricanes of all time.
Top 3 Hurricanes of all time. Ed Reed is number 1. My favorite football player, point blank, of all time. It was Ray Lewis, but there's this backstory there. I'm not going to get into it. Jeremy Shockey, and the reason was the first Hurricanes game I really, really remember it going to as a kid, was 2001 when we played Washington, that the game got rescheduled because of 9/11, and Shockey scored a couple touchdowns that game. So after that, I still have a Shockey jersey that I made my aunt buy me. So, and number 3, let me see. It's got to be Shanti, bro.
Yeah, I like that. That's a solid list. Shockey is one of those guys that I feel like gets kind of forgotten about a little bit. I love Shockey, man, and I was at that Washington game too, and great times, man. But Cali, thank you so much for coming on. We got to get you and your brother on at the same time one of these days. And hey, you know what? I may see you at the Michigan State game.
Yeah, man. Come out there. We'll definitely have some room for you, man.
Good deal. Well, thank you again, man, so much. And go Canes as always, brother.
Go Canes, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Cali. See ya.
Thank you. Later.
Oh, man.
All right, man. 2 great guests back to back. That's what's up.
You know what? I love Canes fans, man. Like, I really do. They just make me happy.
Yeah. Dude, just the passion, I mean, I don't know. There's nothing else like it. I'm a fan of a bunch of different sports teams, and there is nothing like the passion in Canes fam,
Yeah, it's
I mean, sometimes it's unrealistic and kind of stupid, but you know what? It's still passion, and I love it. I
I really, really do. And before we started filming this episode, I was watching the U Part 2 of the 30 for 30, and it just got me excited, and I just have to, kind of remind myself every now and again, get away from like the journalistic side of myself and kind of just realize that, man, I really am a fan, and it's just, I still can't believe that Ed Reed is going to be back in the Hex Center. He's going to be in Coral Gables, man. Like, this dude was inducted into the Hall of Fame not even a year ago, and now he's mentoring these kids. I mean, like, what?
Dude, how cool is, just from a perspective standpoint, like, he was such a boss that he is the boss now, I love it. It's so cool. Imagine being so good as a player that they bring you back to just be in charge of the whole program. Well, kind of, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I just want to see the impact that he's going to have when it comes to things like recruiting,
Yeah, I expect it to be a pretty big one. I mean, I don't know if he'll have an impact on this class. I know Andrew Ivan said that we were doing an in-home with Avante Williams tonight. I don't know if Ed will be a part of that. I hope he is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I still think Avante is going to Florida.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get too excited about that, but I mean, he did post that pic on Twitter a week ago when it was him and Ed Reed on the field. So
Yeah.
I've wanted him for forever, man. I remember Paradise Camp last summer, and I thought that entire weekend, I'm like, oh, Avante's going to switch to the U. It's coming. I know it's coming.
Yeah.
And he never did, sadly. But, yeah, I mean, and it's not even just Avante. It's just recruiting going forward, man. Like it's one thing for Rhett Lashley to walk into your door or your room. It's one thing for Manny Diaz to walk into your living room. But if you got Ed Reed walking into your living room with his Super Bowl ring and his national championship ring, like he is the idol for so many football people growing up right now. Like he is the guy. Like nobody embodies, like, besides like Tom Brady, like who else embodies the game of football more so than Ed Reed in the 21st century? Like seriously, who?
But there's not a defensive player that had as big of an impact on the game as Ed Reed in this century. Just like you said, Ed Reed is number one on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
And probably in the top three next to Manning and Brady. You can't pick anyone else.
Yeah, and he's won a national championship here. He's won a Super Bowl. He's in the Hall of Fame for both. Like, I'm trying to like be rational and be realistic and kind of look at this through a professional set of eyes. But I mean, all that's left to do really in his quest is come back and help Miami win another national championship as part of the staff.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, how about this for recruiting though? This is something that I just thought of. Is, I mean, say you're a high school kid, and you're taking your 3 official visits. How are you not going to, or I guess however many official visits you get, I can't remember. How are you not going to schedule Miami for one of them so you get to meet Ed Reed? You know, so I think just having him on staff, we're going to get our foot in the door with a lot of kids that maybe we wouldn't have previously. I mean, what kid's going to pass up the opportunity to hang out with Ed Reed for a weekend?
Yeah, and go to college where he's over everything and learn from. I mean, just his presence on Green Tree and at the university is. I mean, you want to surround your culture with winners and with people who are at the top of that game. Nobody is higher than Ed Reed, and it's what a great off season, man. Like, this is our off season so far. In I think the 36 days since the bowl game ended, we have hired Rhett Lashley as offensive coordinator. We land De'Aaron King as quarterback, Quincy Roche defensive end. I mean, obviously, several other moves like Garen Justice as offensive line coach, the kicker, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but the you know who I'm talking about. And then we hire Ed Reed as chief of staff, and so I'm 219 days away, I think. So I hate how far away it is, but you know what? I'm ready for spring to start, and I'm just ready. We still got to hire our wide receiver coach too. That's what's next too. So we'll see what that brings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any inside info, but I just got a feeling that it's going to be Pop Cooney, and I'm fine with that. He's been a great recruiter for us, and you know, he's coached at a few different levels now, and I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. I'm not ready to throw out anything. I don't want to give away anything, and I just want to let's see Papa Reed go to work, man. And so, having said all this, let's move into our top 3 discussion. Greatest. Now, are we? Because there's also our top 3. I mean, we can either say top 3 greatest Miami Hurricanes of all time, or our personal favorite top 3 Miami Hurricanes of all time. You know.
Let's go greatest, like legacy, impact on the program, that kind of stuff.
Okay, you go first.
All right, so I'm gonna go Ed Reed number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked at length about that, so I don't have to say anything else. Number 2 is kind of a toss-up for me. I'm gonna go with Michael Irvin at number 2. I mean, he was there at ground zero to really take our program to a national stage. I